Okay, this week we talked about insulin resistance and how it relates to obesity. And in the TED Talk, the guy suggested that maybe obesity wasn't the cause of insulin resistance, but insulin resistance was the cause of obesity, and that there was like a deeper underlying factor, and that obesity was really just like a symptom. So some of the statistics on obesity rates and insulin resistance rates in America. Insulin resistance statistics show that 40% of U.S. adults aged 18 to 44 are estimated to have insulin resistance. That's almost half the population. Well, not really, because they're aged 18 to 44, but that's most of the population. The rate of obesity divided by ages is significantly different. So from ages 20 to 39, 35.5% are diagnosed with obesity. Ages 40 to 50 are up at 46.4%, and ages 60 plus are at 38.9%. There's also rates that can be divided by your region, like what region in the U.S. you're in. So in the Midwest, there's a 36% rate. In the South, it's 34.7%. The West is 29.1%, and the Northeast is 28.6%. So we see most of the obesity percentage coming from the Midwest, which is a large portion of the United States. As far as the population and how a percentage is diagnosed with diabetes, there's approximately 38.4 million of people in the U.S. that do have diabetes, which is equal to about 11.6% of the population. Only 29.7 million have actually been diagnosed, though. And there's estimated 8.7 million adults, which is 22.8%, that are actually just undiagnosed. That's diabetes overall, but type 2 diabetes, which is where you gradually develop insulin resistance, it accounts for 90% to 95% of all diabetes cases in the U.S. So that's a large portion. Rather than having type 1, a lot of people develop diabetes due to their lifestyle and eating habits. Possible sources of excess glucose. A lot of processed foods. A lot of the foods in America are processed today, so some of these contribute to the raising rates of diabetes. Some include soda, energy drinks, white bread, so like grains and starches, processed pastries, a lot of processed foods, cereal, granola bars, etc. A lot of foods people think that are actually healthy for them are not, because they contain a lot more sugar than people realize, and a lot of it is processed. So in the video, the guy talks about how to stop the epidemic of insulin resistance, and he said instead of treating obesity, treat the underlying factor instead. So a few ways you could start by doing that would be not like medically, but just overall your food environment improvement, making food environment improvements, so eating healthier, as well as food companies creating clearer labels for people to be able to read. And then more routine screenings for insulin resistance, because it could just be like an evolution thing as we eat more processed foods and develop diabetes more and more. Each generation could become even more resistant to their insulin. So that is pretty much all we learned about today.